Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Thursday, November 27, 2025. And in the news this evening, son charged after confessing to killing 80-year-old mom. A 53-year-old man has been charged with the murder of his elderly mother after the discovery of the woman's decomposing body in the home where he was staying. Charged is Paolo Grant of Cheesefield District, Linstead, St. Catherine, following the death of his mother, 80-year-old Jasmine Grant, otherwise called the Sister Grant, of the same address between Wednesday, November 12 and Wednesday, November 19. Reports from the Linstead police are that about 11:10 a.m. on November 19, citizens summoned the police to the address after Jasmine was not seen for several days. She was last seen the previous Wednesday. On their arrival, Paolo granted them access to the premises. Upon entering, the police say Jasmine was seen lying on the floor in a state of decomposition with several wounds to the head. The scene was processed and the body was removed to the morgue, pending a post-mortem. It is further reported that Paolo was taken into custody after he confessed to the killing. He was charged after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. His court date is being finalized. Government considering toll order to expand the free access for relief efforts. The government may have to move to issue a toll order to expand the categories of persons and the vehicles that can access toll roads for free to carry out hurricane relief activities amid restrictions by toll operators. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz said he is prepared to act, noting that recovery activities are important. Earlier this month, new protocols were introduced to allow persons engaged in humanitarian activities to apply to the toll authority for toll exemptions. Vaz told the Parliament on Tuesday that as of November 24, the authority had received 2,227 applications with 700 approved, alongside the launch of a new online application portal. However, he told the parliamentarians that the toll operators have since restricted toll exemptions to Class 3 vehicles carrying verified humanitarian aid. Class 3 vehicles are large units such as coach buses, trucks, and trailers. Vaz said Class 1 and 2 vehicles such as cars and SUVs can only pass toll-free under cost-sharing arrangements, which he said limits the movement of essential responders and partners. He said he has since been advised by the toll authority that greater flexibility is legally available to the Transport Minister under the Toll Roads Act to define emergency services and to designate toll-exempt emergency users by a toll order. Vaz said he has received a request from the toll authority to issue such an order to cover the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, ministers and their protection officers, members of Parliament and councillors with protection officers, relevant government agencies, and international and local relief partners working through ODPEM. He said this action would immediately remove administrative delays and ensure unrestricted passage for legitimate humanitarian operations. And I'm saying, Madam Speaker, that it is with a heavy pen that I will have to do so if I have to do it, because I think that the concessionaires, especially in light of the challenges that we are facing and still face, especially in the West, could have been more flexible in relation to working out a regime that would be easier for relief in terms of the cost and also access to get down into these areas, said Vaz. He added that the toll authority stands ready to support the issuance and implementation of the toll order to facilitate a smoother, more efficient national recovery effort. Carlins Road community in Spanish Town tents following murder of resident. Sections of the community of Carlins Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, are tense, arising from the shooting death of a 60-year-old resident this morning. The deceased has been identified as Alfonso Samuel MacDonald, otherwise called Boo. The police report that about 5:30, explosions were heard in the area, and McDonald was found face down, suffering from what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the head. The police were called to the scene. McDonald was assisted to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. No motive has been established for the deadly attack. The Spanish Town Criminal Investigation Branch is probing the matter. Chef gunned down in Prairie St. Anne. Investigators in St. Anne are probing the murder of a chef in Prairie St. Anne's Bay on Wednesday. He has been identified as 30-year-old Desmond de Aguilar of Salem Runaway Bay in the parish. Reports indicate that about 10:15 p.m., Mr. de Aguilar, who was employed at a popular restaurant, left to work and was awaiting transportation at a bus stop when a white Toyota Axia motorcar drove up. Men alighted and fired shots at him. The wounded man ran off into the direction of the beach but was pursued and shot again. The gunman escaped in a waiting motorcar. Mr. de Aguilar was pronounced dead at hospital. St. Anne has recorded 56 murders since the start of the year, 10 more than the corresponding period last year. Government says ODPEM relief funds untouched as procurement plans still in development. The government has confirmed that the US $1.68 million and the Jamaican $635 million have been donated to Hurricane Melissa relief accounts controlled by the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, but said none of the money has been spent so far. The disclosure was made at Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at the Jamaica House, where ODPEM Director General Commander Alvin Gale said the procurement plans for the accounts are now being developed. We're doing that against the needs list. We're looking at what persons are contributing otherwise in terms of what's on the ground, in terms of physical assets, and to move those. But we have been able to utilize some other accounts, primarily the National Disaster Fund, said Gale. He said the funds were used for initial procurement of food and water. Further, Information Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon confirmed that none of the money collected through donations has been spent as yet. So we've been using our government funds. Some additional funds were approved by Cabinet for ODPEM to use. Our donors have also provided food and so on. So none of that money has been spent. They are now going to figure out how to spend it, she said. The amount of money spent so far on relief aid was not disclosed, with Morris indicating that it will be revealed at a later date. Meanwhile, local government minister Desmond McKenzie asserted that the current disaster relief structure does not allow ODPEM to engage with the political directorate following concerns raised by some members of parliament in affected constituencies that they are being left out of the aid process. McKenzie said in each parish there is a development committee which is chaired by the mayor of each parish. He said parish disaster coordinators work closely with ODPEM and that everything done is filtered through the parish development committees which MPs are a part of. The ODPEM should not be interacting with the political directorate, so anybody can accuse the organization of being political. So the organization deals directly with the structure that exists, and that is what has been done for years and will continue to do so, he said. The opposition People's National Party has leveled the accusations against the government of a slow, inadequate, and politically biased response to the suffering of residents in western Jamaica 1 month after Hurricane Melissa devastated the parishes. Opposition MPs on Tuesday criticized the response, arguing that relief efforts are nowhere near the scale of the crisis. Speaking at a press conference, the MPs dismissed the government's $10 million allocation per constituency as a drop in the bucket and called the figure unrealistic for the number of people severely impacted by the hurricane. They claimed that non-governmental organizations and the private sector groups are currently doing more than the state to assist. According to them, the most urgent needs remain housing and food, with Hanover Western MP Heather Miller Bennett, claiming that about 8,000 families are suffering in her constituency. She said the official damage assessment has been patchy and unacceptable. The group also alleged the politicization of aid distribution, arguing that they are sidelined while relief packages are distributed by state ministers and political operatives without a coordination with the sitting representatives. They accused the government of being more concerned with public relations than activating a swift response to housing crisis. PNP President Mark Golding buttressed the claims, accusing the government of failing to include the opposition in the National Recovery Plan. He called for an inclusive and equitable effort to pull the country together. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.